fate of Texas's congressional district map remains in the hands of the U.S. Supreme Court. The High Court will decide if state lawmakers illegally considered race when drawing the new map, and that's expected to help Republicans pick up 5 seats in the House.
Yeah, last week, a federal court ruled Texas cannot use that new map, but the Attorney General appealed and the justices temporarily rolled back the lower court's ruling. Meantime, all the back and forth is leaving some congressional candidates in limbo. KVUE's Daniel Perot is here with a closer look at where the court battle over the Texas congressional map goes from here. Daniel.
Ashley and Mark, it was 1 week ago today that Democrats were celebrating after that 3-judge panel in El Paso ruled in their favor, saying that there was evidence that the newly drawn congressional map was racially gerrymandered. Now there is a lot of urgency for the U.S. Supreme Court to make a decision on the map soon. All eyes are on the highest court in the land as it decides which congressional map Texas will use in the upcoming midterm elections. Last week, a 3-judge panel blocked the state from using its newly drawn map. A Trump-appointed judge writing there's, quote, substantial evidence that Texas racially gerrymandered the map. The state appealed the ruling to the U.S. Supreme Court, arguing the decision came too close to an election and candidates are already filing for the March primary. Supreme Court Justice Samuel Alito paused the lower court's ruling for now, letting the map stand.
Alito by himself or the Supreme Court as a body could base their decision on the Purcell principle, which is that you shouldn't change the rules of the game when you get too close to the election.
The civil rights groups that sued the state say the filing period, which is set to end on December 8th, can be extended. That's happened before. Meanwhile, the state's asking the High Court to rule by next Monday.
There's strong pressure on the Supreme Court to make a decision as soon as possible, and a lot of that pressure is centered on Justice Alito himself.
The Department of Justice submitted a brief to the Supreme Court supporting the new map, writing the federal judges misconstrued a July letter from Assistant Attorney General Harmeet Dillon. That letter expressed serious concerns that 4 of the state's congressional districts were drawn based on race and urged the state to rectify that. The lower court ruled that letter undermined the state's argument that the redistricting was all about politics and partisan gain.
There was no reason for the letter, and in fact, it's not even clear that the letter was the real reason why this was actually occurring.
In the meantime, candidates are caught in the crosshairs. Austin's Congressman Lloyd Doggett's re-election bid rests on which map the state uses in the midterms. This is what he told KVUE last week.
I'm excited about the opportunity to continue serving if the voters permit it.
In a statement, he now tells KVUE he remains hopeful of a final ruling within the next 10 days, affirming the Trump-Abbott map is an illegal racial gerrymander which should not be used in the upcoming election. And as some Republican lawmakers and candidates file briefs to support the state's argument in the Supreme Court, it'll be up to the justices to decide what's next. Political observers say while the High Court leans conservative, this fight is not a sure bet for Texas Republicans.
Anybody who says they know for certain how a court will rule will lie to you about other things as well. And the truth is nobody knows exactly what will happen.
Now that the group suing the state have filed their brief, the state does have a chance to respond. After that happens, the High Court can take action at any time. And Justice Alito could either grant or reject the request for an emergency stay on his own, or he could bring it before all 9 justices for a vote.